think some of the audience might be folks who are probably new to cybersecurity. So I just want to do a bit of a walkthrough through some of the terms that were used, right? So can you briefly explain like the different colored teams you have? Like you mentioned about the purple team, you mentioned about different colors. Can you just give a brief description into that?
For sure. I think I'll cover the three colors which are mainly used out there, especially within the cybersecurity domain, and that we have in-house as well. So red team are your everyday hackers,
Yep.
who are the ones who has a very good grasp and understanding of how an attacker thinks, what exploitation they perform in order for them to go and breach an organization. So our red team learns those techniques and crafts, they hone their skill sets around it, and then we simulate those attacks in our customer environment whenever they seek such a simulation. Blue team now is basically our defensive team. Now there are hackers, right? So, but we also need someone to defend against.
Yeah.
So those are the defenders who monitors 24/7 the infrastructure, every single logs that goes in and out of a system, and identify any anomalies that goes on that may depict an attacker probably is sitting in there, hiding and trying to breach an organization. So that's the blue team, and basically purple team is now a mixture of both, where traditionally red and blue had always been two separate teams. They've always been a distance and a gap. That red team were always doing what they were doing best. They kept honing on it, getting better at it. Defensive team became better at their own craft, kept honing on it. But there was always a distance between the two teams. There was no breach as such. And that's also how it all originated in the army back in the past, where they used to run these simulations in terms of war situations and what red team's going to perform, what blue team's going to perform, and whatnot, right? So we're bringing in similar concept in tech. So it always had been a gap in distance between the two teams. So one team did not know up to what extent the other team is capable of doing and what they really do. But with changing world, with changing environment, with changing technology space, and also the adversary and their new tactics coming in, we had to bridge that gap, because if we wanted to defend against some of the most sophisticated attackers who gets millions of dollars of funding and have years and years to breach just one single organization, while we in the white world doing the good work out there does not have that amount of time or funding to protect our client, right? So we had to come up with something to bridge that gap. So that's where the purple came in. So if you mix a red color and blue color, it becomes purple. Same thing goes in here as well. A purple team is the conjunction between those two teams, a bridge between those two teams, so that in a purple exercises, red learns what blue does, how they do it, so that red can learn and become more better at their craft, at hiding and simulating as much attack tactics possible, while blue team also learns what red team are performing, how they are performing attacks, what are the common functions that they are using that is available that everyday users utilizes and performs, but how they weaponize those things. They learn all those tradecraft, and when the time comes in to actually investigate an active threat, active attack, blue knows a lot more about the mindset of a threat actor and whatnot. And also eventually another beautiful part about purple is whenever such incident actually happens, red team also comes into action, working together with the blue team to perform those incident responses as whatnot as well.
So you're taking best of all the worlds.
That's correct. Figuring out what a defender does, figuring out what a red does, helping each other blend their skill sets to become better at each other's work. But also when an active attack and threat comes in, both of the team comes together. Red be like, okay, if that was me, this is why I'm doing this. These are the other kind of activities I probably would be performing for that specific threat. Blue would be like, you know what, makes sense. Let's look at that kind of things. This is how we would look at it, and they would go in deeper and deeper and be able to potentially protect against a lot of the sophisticated attack in a short span of time compared to what it would usually take.